Hello everyone, welcome to the second half of round 2 of Rock the Promo. I'm your host, Joe Santagato. Rock the Promo is a weekly competition where contestants lay the verbal smackdown on each other until one remains. Thousands of people filmed and submitted their own wrestling promos, but The Rock handpicked 32 of you bastards to compete. Now those contestants are going head-to-head in a single-elimination bracket. Last week we watched as the 8 contestants on the left side of the bracket went at it. This week, we're focusing on the right. Just like last week, contestants were instructed to make a promo dissing their opponent. As always, contestants will be judged on the 3 C's. Carrots, Christmas, cigarettes. What? Character, comedy, costume. Before we get to our contestants, let's meet our guest judge. He's a 2-time ECW World Heavyweight Champion, and he's a many times over tenacious motherfucker. It's Tommy Dreamer. Hey Tommy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Well, what I've been up to, I've been living my dream. Still out there wrestling, have my own company, House of Hardcore, wrestling all over the world, as well as my favorite job, being a dad to my beautiful twin daughters.
Good to hear, Tommy. Now let's get into our first matchup.
Sweet Revenge versus La Shambirdie.
Check Macho, L.O.D. Martel and White. Stir 'em up in the pot. Sprinkle espresso with a muffin top. What do you got?
The realest and illest villains! Tied up in a knot!
Call me local. I don't think Shambirdie's taking our spot.
Ain't nothing sweet but the name, partner. You say you walk off coast? I was born in the heat, bitch!
And we all know that girl is his mother. He ain't fooling nobody. Talking about getting dirty. Says the human colostomy bag known as La Shambirdie.
Your arms are too short to box with the gods, and your appetite ain't big enough for the recipe for disaster.
Cause you can't deny good talent. You can't deny good taste.
Sweet Revenge. It's now a challenge.
Should have belts around our waist.
Sweet Revenge are my guys, okay? I love them. They have great chemistry, great mic skills. This kitchen has kind of like a weird setup. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but it kind of looks like they shot it in like a Home Depot. But my opinion doesn't mean a goddamn thing. So let's see what Tommy Dreamer thinks.
I liked you both for a few reasons. One, you covered up those bodies at the perfect point. You accentuated your pluses. You guys have big arms. You also ate during a promo, which is a personal favorite of Tommy Dreamer. The one guy, you look like Braun Strowman put in a dryer for too long. Big props to Sweet Revenge.
Let's see what La Shambirdie's got to say to that.
And just a little bit more over here. Perfect.
Ah! Shambirdie ain't got no sweet tooth. Listen here, soy latte macchiato. You can't stand the heat in my kitchen.
Sweet Revenge? The only revenge you should be looking to exact is on both your mamas for popping out 2 candy-ass individuals.
And you, Butterball Diabeto, your biscuit's about to get burned. So if either of you 2 cake boys want to step in the ring with this winged beast, you're gonna get Shambirdie chopped.
Oh my God, La Shambirdie is not fucking around. This guy baked 2 cupcakes and then took them out and immediately smashed them just to prove a point. That is dedication. Sweet Revenge was my favorite after the first round, but now this, I'm jumping ship. I'm Team Shambirdie. By the way, did you see that hip movement when he did the Shambirdie slap? He might have stole the show. I'm a little horny right now, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if that's weird or not. Let's see what fucking Tommy thinks.
You ever gotten hit with a cupcake? Really doesn't hurt. The best part about it is when you have someone lick it off. Shambirdie, Lombardi, Shapar. I don't even know your name. You know what I think you are? I think you're a ripoff of the great Ugandan warrior Kamala. If you're gonna put somebody in a promo next to you, at least use them. Don't just go do something and chop a cupcake into his chest. Come on, amateur. I can't even believe you made it this far.
All right, Tommy, who's moving on and who's buying off-brand toilet paper because their credit card just declined?
Shambirdie, guess what? Go Kamala your big belly out. Don't steal somebody else's stuff. Sweet Revenge, you Braun Strowman, Gerber baby looking man. You're moving forward.
Sweet Revenge? No. 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 No.
The Plumber versus Prince James.
It's the plumber. As I clean and fix these pipes behind me, all I can think about is flushing Prince James down the toilet. You call yourself a prince, yet you stink worse than anything flown through this porcelain throne. Last time I checked, a prince doesn't look like a generic version of Red Foo. Your hair looks like actually something I could use to clean the inside of my toilets with. I'm gonna make sure this plunger goes over your face. I suck out all the crap coming from your mouth, and once your pipes are clean, I'm gonna deliver the greatest wrestling move of all time. the plunger, and your hopes and dreams of winning will go down the drain. And maybe if you're lucky, this plumber may actually help you install new pipes. So next time, you can actually deliver a good promo.
I feel like I was watching this video and fast forward. This guy was talking at 1,000 miles per hour. Slow the fuck down, plumber. By the way, I was hoping that I would get another fucking face plunge, and that didn't happen, so I'm a little disappointed. Let's see what Tommy thinks.
Plumber, you did an excellent job. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time, the American Dream, if you will, son of a plumber. Dusty Rhodes, wearing the black and yellow for the Dream. Plumber, great job. Slow down a little bit, though.
Next up, we got Prince James.
On to the Sweet 16, and I'm here to clean and jerk all over your dreams, Chris the Plumber. And quite frankly, Rocky, I'm appalled and offended. Who's paying for my tetanus shot to get in the ring with that turd jerker? I'm the prince, I'm royalty, I'm regal, and quite frankly, I shouldn't even be in the same category as some jabron job who's cutting promos in his mother's basement with his Sandusky mustache, his petter-ass vibe. You remind me of someone who smells of mothballs and bad decision and creepiness. I'd say I'd blow kisses at your old lady, but I'm pretty sure you don't have one. Tell your mom she better have the meatloaf ready. Prince James, bitch!
All right, this guy just said he's gonna clean and jerk all over his dreams. That's fucked up. Why did he say that? By the way, I can't get past the fact that this guy sounds exactly like Andy Dick. Am I the only one that thinks that? Tommy, what do you think?
Yo, I can't believe I'm saying this. I agree with you. You may not want to toke on the bong before you're gonna go and cut a promo. You're gonna clean and jerk all over someone? You haven't been into a gym, let alone know a person named Jim. You wanna call someone a bitch? Well, the plumber is gonna make you his bitch.
All right, Tommy, who's moving on and who's lying about being proficient at Excel on their resume?
The plumber, if you will, advances. Dude, I really rooting for you. I have plunged a person's penis. I had to stop at some point. You know, sometimes you gotta be PG.
All right, congratulations, plumber. Next round, please get a face plunge. Just fucking get in there, okay? Let's move on to our next matchup.
The Shocker versus Roger Hansen.
What's up, my shockaholics? Apparently you, like them, haven't got enough of me yet. But first we gotta talk about this Roger Hansen. Now he says his mom is a famous clown, but with hair like that, he didn't say she did Sideshow Bob. And it's funny that you ended your video with a mouthful of cream, because I have a feeling most of your videos end that way. So get on your longboard, skate on back to Hipster Town, because you don't have the balls to face the Shocker. You don't have the guts to meet the Shocker, and you sure as hell don't have the fire to beat the Shocker. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got better things to do.
Okay, just so we're clear here, this man pulled a water bottle through a person, spit fire, and then walked off frame to have a four-way. Is there any possible way to beat this guy? Tommy, let me know.
Shocker, you shocked the innovator of violence, Tommy Dreamer. Phenomenal job. Excellent promo. But when you're using props, this isn't magic. This is real. You're talking to a man who put his head through a locker to make himself bleed. You're talking about a man who's standing here in front doing the Rock promo contest, caving his own head! Shocker! Step up, or else you're going out.
Let's see how Roger Hansen fires back.
Roger Hansen here, Brooklyn, New York. I know what you're thinking. Wow, that haircut's pretty fresh, which is the opposite of everything you said. Shocker, you claim to be the world's first and only pro wrestling magician? Wrong. How about Fantasio, 1995, WWE? He did the same tricks you did. He had a small comeback in 2003 under the name Shock. Did you do any homework, dude? Another thing you and him have in common is you're washed up and eroding with time like this fountain behind me. On that note, back to you, Joe, and whoever else is guest hosting today's episode. You're embarrassed.
Joe Santagato here, Queens, New York. Wow, my haircut's pretty fresh. First of all, that was the smoothest entrance probably ever in fucking history. He just fucking slid in there. That was amazing. Also, there's some pretty hefty claims being thrown around in this promo. Hansen's saying the Shocker is copying his gimmick from someone who already exists. Let's see how this plays out. Tommy?
Hansen, phenomenal job. Dude, you knew your wrestling history. You're from Brooklyn. I got a little connection with you. Your entrance, everything you did, you talk smack as well as you're not a magician, and boom, you pulled out a prop. Again, prop usage is key.
All right, Tommy, who's moving on and who's frantically searching the internet for home drug testing kits?
This has been the hardest decision I've had to make. Hansen, because of your entrance, because of you counteracted your opponent. And shocker, I'm gonna tell you, you need to raise a little bit of an inflection. Also, don't wear a mask, because the eyes are a window to your soul. I believe every single thing that I say when I'm cutting a promo. This is not magic, this is real, and this is why you're not advancing to the next round.
Let's move into our final matchup.
The IT Man versus the Vacation.
The IT Man is back again, and this time his opponent is a guy called The Vacation. This Mai Tai drinking Hawaiian t-shirt wearing facsimile of Todd Pettengill. The IT Man has no time for vacations, but he will be hacking your 30 seconds of fame by shutting down your GPS, turning off your frequent flyer mileage, and also shutting down your vacation resort. So when you are sitting in your room and you're sweating, it's not from the cooling systems being shut down. No, it's from the fear of stepping in the ring with me. And when you step foot in that ring and tap out to the IOSTF, you're gonna live up to your name, The Vacation, when I send you down that super information highway on a long trip to user deletion, because the IT Man will turn on and turn off your career.
This guy's good, okay? He uses a lot of IT references in his promo, and I like that. He makes it work. I also don't want him to hack my fucking email and shit, but let's see what Tommy thinks.
Hack your email? How about your browser search, bro? I've heard about you. IT guy, excellent job. You used your character, you used your gimmick, you got over your finish. I actually have an emotional investment in you because you told me who you are and what you were gonna do, and you talk smack to your opponent. Great job. Put some money in my PayPal.
All right, Vacation is up next.
Rise and grind. The Vacation has arrived in round 2 to crack the IT Man's code. I tell you, I took one look at you and I said to myself, damn, now this guy can use a vacation. I mean, you're in your mother's basement talking about how big your hard drive is, when we all know it's more like a floppy disk. And as far as your massive RAM is concerned, well, rumor on the resort is that the IT Man has a tendency to short circuit when it comes time to finish that upload. So come visit the Vacation on his private beach. But rest assured, you're gonna be the one in need of troubleshooting. And no one does it better than the Vacation. You're booked for an early checkout. So control or delete yourself out of this competition, because this vacation just got extended. Life's a beach, ain't it?
I gotta be honest, I hated this guy in the first round, okay? But he brought it this week. He flipped all of the IT Man's words on him, and he threw a laptop into the ocean. That is some baller shit. He does look like my cousin, who I still hate, but let's see what Tommy thinks.
Vacation, excellent job. Here's my biggest problem when cutting promos. If you're gonna do it live, there are no mess-ups and there are no edits. You almost had him, but then you had to go and edit it and go to throw a laptop in the water. That was a risky move on your behalf, probably also a costly one. Vacation, you kinda messed up on the edit, just letting you know.
All right, Tommy, who's moving on and who's lying about their height on Tinder?
Vacation, I'm sorry. You were gonna be deleted IT guy. Congratulations, you're moving forward.
Thank you to all the contestants and congratulations to those who moved on. Tommy, do you have any advice for the remaining contestants?
Guys, maybe you haven't noticed, I've changed my outfit in between segments. You know why? Because it's about your presentation. Speak a little slower. When you're gonna be mad, maybe you wanna raise your voice, or maybe you wanna direct right at the person and make a point and not say so loud. Slow down, tell a story, and you will be the next winner and advance to the next round.
Thank you, Tommy. These guys need all the help they can get.
I did it for the most electrifying man, not only in sports entertainment, not only in movies, not only on social media, because that most electrifying man is still the same person from the first day that I ever met him. He is the top guy in all the world, but yet he does this for his fans, and yet he does this for wrestling.
Thank you for watching Rock the Promo. Tune in next week where the Elite 8 will battle it out in a new challenge. By the way, I am 6'5" in my Tinder profile.